The Buddha once said in the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta that the four foundations of mindfulness are the direct path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for entering the right way, and for the realization of nibbana. When we hear this, it sounds almost too simple. Could mindfulness alone really open the door to liberation? But what the Buddha meant by mindfulness was not merely awareness, not merely relaxation, and definitely not just being calm. He meant a deep, penetrating, stabilizing presence that meets each moment as it is, without distortion, without clinging, without pushing it away. In today's talk, we explore these four foundations: mindfulness of the body, feelings, mind, and mental objects, in a practical, grounded way. This teaching will not just describe the theory, it will show you how mindfulness works inside your daily life, your relationships, your reactions, your thoughts, and your emotional patterns. It is a teaching that does not ask you to believe, but to look. As the Buddha always said, "Come and see." Let us begin wherever we are, sitting, listening, breathing. Even right now, mindfulness can begin. When the Buddha spoke about mindfulness of the body, he began very simply. Breathing in, I know I breathe in. Breathing out, I know I breathe out. This may sound elementary, but think about how rarely we actually breathe with awareness. Most of the time, the body breathes, and we are somewhere else entirely, lost in planning, remembering, worrying, imagining, rehearsing. To return to the breath is to return home, to the ground of the present moment. Mindfulness of the body does not end with breathing. It includes mindfulness of postures, walking, standing, sitting, lying down. It includes mindfulness of movements, bending, stretching, eating, drinking, speaking. The Buddha invites us to become intimate with the simple reality of being embodied. Not to judge the body, not to analyze it endlessly, but simply to know, this is the body. When you walk, know you are walking. When you are tired, know you are tired. When the body aches, know it aches. To bring awareness to the body dissolves a great deal of confusion because so many of our struggles live in the mind, because we have abandoned the body. Imagine a moment when you feel anxious. The mind may be spinning with stories. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? How will I manage? But beneath the stories, the body is speaking. The stomach tightens, the chest contracts, the breath becomes shallow. The Buddha is saying, come back to what is really happening. Place the mind inside the body, and the storm begins to soften. In the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, the Buddha also guides us to contemplate the elements of the body: earth, water, fire, air. He encourages a reflection on the body as composed of natural processes, hardness, fluidity, heat, motion. This teaches humility and non-attachment. When we feel insecure about appearance or compare ourselves to others, we forget that all bodies age, all bodies change, all bodies return to the elements. Reflecting this way does not devalue the body. It frees us from the unrealistic expectations we put upon it. Mindfulness of the body also includes contemplating the body's impermanence, observing it as something arising and passing away. Every sensation, breath, posture, and movement is telling us the truth. Nothing stays. When we see this deeply, suffering begins to loosen. And this brings us naturally to the second foundation: feelings. In the teachings, feelings do not mean emotions like sadness, anger, or joy. They mean the basic tone of experience: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Every moment has one of these three. The Buddha teaches us to notice this tone directly because it is the spark that ignites craving and aversion. When something is pleasant, we want it to last. When something is unpleasant, we want it to stop. When something is neutral, we often ignore it and drift into unawareness. Imagine you receive a compliment. Immediately, you sense a small, pleasant feeling. The pleasant feeling is not the problem. The problem is the craving that follows. Wanting more praise, wanting people to see you a certain way, fearing loss of approval. Now, imagine someone criticizes you. Instantly, an unpleasant feeling arises. Again, the unpleasant feeling is not the issue. The issue is the aversion, the pushback, the desire to defend, attack, withdraw. The Buddha's wisdom is simple. If you can catch the feeling at the moment it arises, just the bare pleasantness or unpleasantness, you cut the chain of reactivity before it grows into craving or aversion. Mindfulness of feelings transforms our relationship to pain and pleasure. For example, if you sit in meditation and your knee hurts, instead of becoming frustrated or thinking, "I can't meditate," you notice, "This is unpleasant." You don't add a story, you don't resist. You simply know the feeling for what it is. In doing so, you become free. The pain may not vanish immediately, but the suffering around it softens because you no longer take it personally. The third foundation is mindfulness of mind itself, not the contents of mind, but the state of mind. The Buddha asks us to look directly. Is the mind greedy or not greedy? Is it angry or not angry? Is it distracted or concentrated? Is it contracted or expanded? Is it bright or dull? In this teaching, the Buddha is inviting us to become a scientist of our own consciousness. Instead of thinking our thoughts are me, we begin to observe them as events, patterns, conditions. For example, think of a time when anger arose. Usually we say, "I am angry." But the Buddha would encourage us to shift slightly. Anger is present. This small change transforms everything. Before, the anger was you. Now it is simply something happening in the mind. You are the observer, not the anger itself. The same applies to fear, restlessness, sluggishness, joy, clarity, confusion, and every other mental state. When the mind is dull, simply note, dullness is present. When the mind is bright and joyful, note, joy is present. There is no need to cling to the joy or fight against the dullness. They are both temporary states arising due to causes and conditions. One of the most powerful examples is when you feel overwhelmed. Normally, the mind reacts with thoughts, "I can't handle this." But with mindfulness of mind, you step back and see, overwhelm is present. This is how the mind feels right now. Instead of drowning inside the state, you observe it. The overwhelmed feeling loses its power because you have stopped identifying with it. This foundation of mindfulness helps us develop wisdom about the mind's nature. We begin to see how mental states arise based on conditions: sleep, stress, diet, interactions, time of day, memories triggered, sounds we hear. The Buddha's question is not, "Why are you like this?" but "What conditions brought this about?" And more importantly, are these wholesome or unwholesome? In this sense, mindfulness of mind is not passive. It teaches discernment, helping us nurture what leads to peace and let go of what leads to suffering. The fourth foundation, mindfulness of mental objects, dhammas, is the most profound. Here, the Buddha teaches us to observe categories of experience, the 5 hindrances, the 5 aggregates, the 6 sense bases, the 7 factors of awakening, and finally, the 4 noble truths. This foundation aims directly at wisdom. It is the bridge between mindfulness and insight. For example, the 5 hindrances: desire, aversion, sloth, torpor, restlessness, worry, and doubt are not personal flaws. They are patterns that temporarily obscure clarity. When desire arises, the Buddha does not say, "Reject it immediately." He says, "Know it as desire. Know how it appears, know how it feels, know how it fades. The same with anger, laziness, anxiety, or doubt. When you see them as natural phenomena, not as my problem, they begin to lose their grip. This foundation also includes observing the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These are the building blocks of what we call self. The Buddha teaches us to observe these aggregates not as mine, not as me, but as transient processes. For instance, when a memory arises, instead of identifying with it, we notice it as part of the aggregate of mental formations. When a sensation arises, we see it as part of form. When a feeling arises, we know it as feeling. This seeing begins to loosen our attachment to the sense of self. The Buddha also guides us to observe reality through the lens of the 4 Noble Truths. When suffering arises, stress, conflict, tension, we recognize it as the first Noble Truth. This is dukkha. Then we look at its cause: craving, clinging, pushing away, resisting. This is the second Noble Truth. Then we remember that suffering can end. This is the third Noble Truth. Finally, we walk the path, mindfulness included, that leads to the cessation of suffering. This is the fourth Noble Truth. When you experience your life through these truths, even ordinary moments become opportunities for liberation. Let us consider real-life examples. Imagine you are waiting in a long line at the grocery store. You feel agitated. That agitation is dukkha. You notice the unpleasant feeling. This belongs to the second foundation. You observe the state of mind. Irritation is present, the third foundation. And finally, you look at the cause, craving for the moment to be different from what it is, restlessness, impatience. This belongs to the fourth foundation. In that moment, mindfulness itself becomes the path leading to peace. Or imagine you receive a message from someone close to you that feels harsh. Immediately, a wave of emotion arises. Maybe hurt, maybe anger, maybe confusion. Without mindfulness, the mind reacts automatically. How dare they? Or, why am I always treated this way? But with mindfulness, you simply notice the body tightening, the unpleasant feeling, the surge of emotion, the mental state shifting, and the thoughts arising. You become the observer of the entire process instead of being swept away by it. This is the miracle of mindfulness. This is what the Buddha meant by a direct path to freedom. Another example. During meditation, you may feel restless. The legs twitch, the mind jumps, the heart feels unsettled. Instead of resisting the restlessness, you observe it. Restlessness is part of the 5 hindrances, a mental object to be understood, not feared. You notice how it rises and falls. Sometimes it grows when you resist it. Sometimes it weakens when you simply see it clearly. Over time, this insight changes your relationship with discomfort. You realize that discomfort is just another phenomenon, not your enemy. The practice of the 4 foundations is not limited to the meditation cushion. It is meant to be lived. When you walk, you can practice mindfulness of the body. When you eat, you can practice mindfulness of feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. When you interact with others, you can practice mindfulness of the mind, recognizing kindness, irritation, openness, or fear. When you face challenges or make decisions, you can practice mindfulness of mental objects, identifying hindrances, aggregates, and the 4 Noble Truths playing out in real time. Little by little, mindfulness removes the veil of illusion. You begin to see clearly how experience unfolds. You notice impermanence moment by moment. You learn that clinging creates suffering. You discover that letting go brings peace. You witness that everything is arising and passing away, and there is a spaciousness in which all of this occurs. The Buddha calls this spaciousness liberation. As we come to the close of this teaching, let us remember, Mindfulness is not something you add to your life like a task on a checklist. It is a way of being, a way of relating to your experience with patience, curiosity, kindness, and wisdom. The Four Foundations are not intellectual concepts. They are invitations to return to your life exactly as it is. They ask you to breathe, to feel, to observe, to understand. If you practice consistently, even in small doses, you will begin to notice subtle shifts. You may find yourself less reactive, more stable, more compassionate. Situations that once triggered anxiety might feel more manageable. Conversations that once drained you may feel lighter. The mind becomes less tangled. The heart becomes more open, and slowly the path becomes clear beneath your feet. The Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta reminds us that this path leads to the end of suffering, not someday in the distant future, but here, now, in every mindful moment. You don't need to run away to a forest to practice. You simply need to be present. Whether you are washing dishes, sending an email, breathing in traffic, or sitting in silence, mindfulness is available. Let us take one final breath together. In this breath is the body. In this breath is feeling. In this breath is mind. In this breath is the entire Dharma. And with awareness of this breath, the path unfolds. May this practice guide you. May it steady you. May it bring you peace. And may mindfulness illuminate the way toward freedom.